We are, as promised, doing, we've made our way to just about 60K over our last couple workouts. Was quick, right? And we'll talk a little bit, starting today, about second half. We will be going back and revisiting some. So I'll get to that in a minute. Make sure you're comfortable, meaning windows open, fans on, right? We're not in Bikrams. We're trying to make ourselves as comfortable as we can to perform as well as we can, get some quality. Everyone, bringing that gear up now at your preferred cadence of 90 to 100, right? Bring it up to 5 out of 10. We're just gonna do a little rotation, not for long, as though we're jumping into that group ride. We've met our buddies and we're riding conversational pace, but we're just settling into that to warm up our legs properly. 5 out of 10, bring that gear up. If you know your wattage, the number is your 50% max aerobic power. And if you've done a lot of work with functional threshold, which is around your 70, 75, that's the reference point. When I'm saying 70 to 75% of max aerobic power. So settling in now for another minute and a half at this effort level. And while we're here, just taking a little bit of time to think about how we feel. So we're locked into that cadence. Top to bottom, relax face, all right? Down to your shoulders. Let's take a deep breath in. Deep breath in, out. Our back. I see Zoomer made it. Hey Zoomer, you're doing the indoor thing. Zoomer's in California. He had to figure out the video, so we haven't seen him until today. Okay. So we're still just at that 5 out of 10 feeling. We're gonna be here for another 45 seconds. As I say, we jumped in with our friends to roll out. The nice friends, not the friends that attack you going over the bridge on the way out to the ride. 30 more seconds like this. And we're gonna hold our cadence, 90 to 100. Hopefully you can either see my legs or you're getting used to counting now if you don't have a cadence meter. I'm right at 96, okay? Increase the gear, 6 out of 10 or 60%. And remembering, that's where the sentences are just not quite as fluid, catch in your voice, but you're not yet going, yeah, it's good, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, right? Short little answers, you still can talk. Okay, you've got that gear up a little bit. Right now, 2 minutes on your bike. Pretty simple. Just increase a gear on the back. Probably in your small chain ring right now, depending on the amount of resistance on your trainer. Minute and a half. Like I say quite often, warming up. 50 and 60% can feel a lot like way too hard when you've just dragged yourself up from your coffee. That's the point in doing it. Even if we have a 7 o'clock start for an event, you want to have that routine where you get to warm up, you get yourself ready. Another minute. And then we're gonna drop back to that 5 out of 10 again. So a little bit like rolling out in this group ride. We've picked it up a little bit. Maybe we just roll to the front and we're gonna get back off the front, sit on some wheels for another minute. 30 seconds to go. As we take our next drop in effort again, one more time. Gonna have you think about the lower part of your body. Let's think about core being engaged. One of the things I was very surprised at when we started coaching newer riders, and we're dropping that effort level / gear / wattage back to that 5 out of 10. Just 1 minute, okay? One of the things was really noticeable in simple things in the biking was not being able to turn around and keep the wheels straight, not being able to get a water bottle on the fly. All of those things we underestimate as being so important, but we need to learn bike tracking forward, keeping ourselves engaged, doing all this stuff. That means this has to be solid. A lot of things in big groups, even small groups, even by yourself, take you by surprise. You want to be able to keep stable, react. It's not always everything else's fault, okay? We're bringing up the effort level again, 6 out of 10. Just bring that gear up a little bit. Just doing this 1 more minute. Good, like I said, from the middle down, let's think about knees tracking straight. Let's think about that positive pressure through the feet. I judge the on and off through my feet a lot as my effort changes, as the grade changes, giving me cues for what gears I should be in optimally. 6 out of 10 right now. Just gonna do 1 more little increase. Bring it up in 5 seconds, between 6 and 7, up to your 70%. FTP number if you know that. 2, 1, hold the cadence. Just a little bit more burn in the legs, a little bit closer to lactate threshold. Good, hold on to this. Awesome job, we got another 30 seconds. Nice and solid on the bike. Our winner of our little Instagram Zoom contest a while ago was Laddie, who rides with us a lot. I talked about being able to put a bag of carrots on your head to make sure you're keeping your head nice and still. Her Instagram was a picture of her training with the bag of carrots on her head. But something to think about. Nice and steady, top to bottom. Back the gear off, right back to recovery. Back to where we just got off the couch. Cadence is a huge part of what we want to learn. Importantly, what we're doing effort-wise can be very different at various cadences. I've been asked about pedal stroke. One of the things you will obviously get more miles, ride your bike, ride your bike, ride your bike, like Eddie Merckx said. But you will start to smooth out your pedal stroke. The other things, working on leg speed, cleaning up the dead spots, and thinking about the full perimeter of the circle. Today in this easy gear, I'm just gonna have you start at a relatively manageable cadence, 90 to 100, which I have called preferred cadence. It's usually what we do the most effectively around. But as soon as we start to climb, that changes up a bit, okay? Right now, 90 to 100 cadence. As much as 100 is fine. I want you in an easy gear, meaning under your 50%. And if you can, as we do this increase, this ramp, bring the gear off a little bit so that you're not challenged with the leg speed. You're feeling it, and it's not a huge workload. Okay? Starting at 90 to 100, less than 10 seconds. I'm right at 101. Make sure the gear is easy. We're going to do a little lift, going through increments of 5 RPM, and I'm going to cue you to achieve around that. Don't sweat the few RPM up and down. First lift, up, up. Make sure that gear isn't restrictive. Going to be up to around 105. Even though it's your legs in this, remember, upper body relax. Going to do another lift. I want you to be trying to tip up to around 110, 105 to 110 in this next lift. Up, up. Sorry, I'm already there. This is what we call a bit of overreaching. If you raced on the track ever, some people who have a background, they ride very high cadences, but you don't want to try and copy someone when you don't have the neuromuscular development. You want to learn a bit, have a bigger tool bag. Up, up. 115 if you can get there. 150. Come on, guys. We're going to top it off. Whatever you can manage. Between 115 and 120. Now we are getting to where track riders are riding. Cleaning up your pedal stroke, right? Up, up. Come on. Quick feet. If you feel like the pedals are getting ahead of you, just stop right where you're starting to get that feeling. 3, 2, and 1. Back it off. Back to your comfortable cadence. Cadence drills, although they're easiest to do indoors, you can, anywhere you have a good longish climb with a descent, and this is good practice again for recovery. You're doing a ride like the GranFondo, lots of times you're coming down after an up. So you want to be learning to turn the pedals over and move the blood through your legs so that you're getting little bits of recovery all the time. And practice, when you're on downhills, practice by just keeping the gear off a bit. 2 things you don't want to do. 1, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, forever, right? Blood pooling, bad legs next time you hit a hill. The other thing, pushing a big gear. I especially know that. Being small, I can push a massive gear on a downhill and still have guys coast by me because they've got the gravity advantage. Okay, we're going right into our first sets. They're not at a huge output. I want you to be setting yourself in an effort of 6 to 7 out of 10. So that's a little bit towards the top end where we were in the first little couple minutes. And you're just getting out of that words together, catching a little bit. When somebody asks you how you're doing, you might be, yeah, pretty good. Okay? So this, we're focusing on cadence. The first one, the first 2 minutes at 85. I know that sounds low. It's not my preferred cadence, but I want you to feel the difference. You will do this cadence a lot in climbs if you're pushing a reasonable gear. So I'm going to have you dropping your cadence right now. Bring it down to 85-ish. Okay? This is what I call a crisp climbing cadence. You're at 60 to 70%. I have to drop a little bit more. We're at 22 to 23% Pedal strokes, no, I'm sorry. We're at round 21. Pedal strokes every 15 seconds. Okay, here we go. 2 minutes like this. Your 60 to 70% number. I'm giving you a bit of a range. Those of you a little bit more years in the saddle, easily at 70%, because your FTP will be a little bit higher percentage, but we don't want too much on that. Okay, almost done, 30 seconds. Good. Lower cadences, thinking about the big recruitment, butt muscles, hamstrings, strong through the feet. Pulling through the bottom of the pedal stroke. Awesome job. Close to a minute. Even if your first one, you feel more comfortable at your 60%, bring it up after that. As your legs feel accustomed to the effort, eyes up. One of the worst things, everyone having computers these days. Everyone's like this all the time. Good job. Relax those shoulders. Bring them down. Almost at 30 seconds to go. Holding on to this cadence. The long piece we're doing today has a lot of around this cadence. If you're pushing a decent amount of gear. Going off in 10 and a bit. 10 seconds. You're going to take a minute easy, wherever you like. 3, 2, back it off. Back to comfortable. Start finding your next cadence while you're going easy. One of the things you want to learn is not to rely on having a lot of gear to hit your cadences. Learn the rhythm. We want to find that. I'm right at 94, going up to 95. I'm going to start bringing some gear in. 2 minutes. And again, newer riders, 60% is fine. Those of you who've ridden a bit more, 70% at 95 cadence. Getting into it in less than 10 seconds. Another reminder to relax. Bit more gear. 2, 1. Come on. Hold that cadence. Good little tidbit for reference. Last world hour record was set at 94 RPM average. If that gives you an idea of efficiencies, obviously that is on the velodrome, meaning there's not any ups and downs. It's a straight up riding on the inside of the track fast as you can. Good. Feels a lot different than 85. I'll get used to that feeling. 70%, remember. Getting a little bit hard to talk, for sure. Very close to your hour power. Meaning as hard as you could go, flat out for an hour. We've got 1 more minute here. Hold on to the cadence. Relax. Learn this. Awesome job, guys. Really good. Think about your feet. Find something to focus on anytime your legs hurt. Find something else. Always revert to technical, because quite often we get fixated on, oh, my legs hurt, which they do. All right, just about 20 seconds. Nice and comfortable for everybody. Bang on that 94, 95. I'm sure most of you. Still under 25 pedal strokes for 15 seconds. Last bit. 3, 2, release the gear. One more. So, lots of top riders on the planet have ridden on the track as a start. And actually, I was just remembering this morning, last year's winner of the RBC GranFondo, who's also one of our coaches, Brendan Armstrong. He raced Team Pursuit with my other young tag guys just when he was junior. None of them had really ridden a ton. Brendan maybe more than the others, but they had a spectacular win of the Junior National Championships, Team Pursuit. Almost lost it by being cocky. 10 seconds, a little bit less. 105. Find that cadence. Definitely crisper. 70%. I want everyone to try 70% this time. 2, 1. Up, up. It's a whole 20 RPM different from your first 2 minutes. You want to understand the range. You want to understand where you feel the most effective. You want to be learning to feel for the feelings when you're on some of these big segments. Good job. 90 seconds. Right here. Top end for a lot of us of a really effective, efficient cadence. For some people, it's a little too high and you'll spike into too much lactate until you're used to it. Doesn't mean you can't get used to it, but back to the concept of just copying what your friends do, it is wise to learn what you can do. Try and improve that. 45 seconds. Good job, guys. Right here. Hold on to it. Just focus on cadence. Awesome. I'm right at 106, 106-ish. You're using me for reference. Just over 20 seconds. Really nice. Just another 15. Last 5. Carry it right through. 2 and 1. Easy. Good. So I'm just going to get you set up for this last one long big hill, and we'll just talk a little bit about it. Those of you who have ridden the route on the Sea to Sky before, or driven, you have a decent idea, well, a good idea, I'm sure, of this next piece. So we left our interval the other day, hitting the top of the last double climb into a long downhill, and I promised you that you were going to be in Squamish by the base of that. So we've rolled through Squamish. We have just over 2 minutes before we start. Just give you updates. We've rolled through Squamish, and depending on if you are Brendan or someone in around that blistering just over 3 hours to 3.5 hours pace, it's going to take you less than 10 minutes to get through Squamish. Lots and lots of people, it's double that. And I have a woman that I helped up there one year. She was ecstatic to be just around 6 hours, and that is at about half the speed of the front. All huge accomplishments. So, thinking in those terms, I'm just narrowing this down to a little piece. We've gone into Squamish. You go in at 62K, which is the downtown. You've got a minute, 15 seconds before we start. And then we're going to roll onto what is pancake flat for the next 6 to 7 kilometers. So I've just brought that down to a little snippet of 2 minutes to get you set up. So let's say we're just starting closer to that 69K, which is the end of the flat. And we're right about where any of you guys who have ridden this event before, you know the bacon guy, okay? The bacon guy does bacon hand-ups. All the big events, you gotta take his bacon. Keep him coming back. So he does bacon hand-ups at his own little feed zone, and we're going past there. We're gonna hit the hill. Remember, I was talking the other day about long climbs and breaking them down into pieces. I'm gonna cue you on these. Right now, you are starting 60% at your preferred cadence of 90 to 100. This is 19 minutes long, lots of changes, some steep parts, but right now, I want you on the last bit of the flat, before the road kicks up, in 2, 1, 90 to 100 cadence, 60%. And back to whether you're riding with someone at the front, the middle, further back. Hopefully you've got a few friends with you and you're able to ride at this sort of effort level because the rest of the ride is progressively harder from here. Okay, so we're in good shape at this point. We're almost at a minute in this first part. We took our bacon, we're feeling supercharged, or not. 1 more minute. And then we have 5 minutes that I've broken down. It gets progressively from 4% to 7, which as a frame of reference, if you're in Vancouver, we have the city mountains here are in around that range. Most highways are in around that. So that their average climbs, 30 more seconds like this. Then it's tipping up. Okay, so breaking it down into segments like this is where we're really paying attention to what we're doing minute by minute and not, oh my gosh, thinking about how far it is to the top of this climb. Okay? Cadence dropping just a little bit, more like 90 to 95. Difficult to stay close to 100. Bring the gear up to simulate being at your 70 to 75%. Again, depending on who you're riding with, might be at either end of that. Suffice it to say, you're on a hill, you're pushing against the pedals. Lock it in now. Crank that music up if you've got the GranFondo playlist on. And we'll break this up. 3 minutes is the first part. 90 to 95%. Sorry, 90 to 95. Oh, that would have been hard. 90 to 95 RPM. We'll go 90% at the end, don't worry. Good. Get yourself into a rhythm. Bite-sized pieces. Goal right here is to try and stay within yourself. I came up on one of my teammates here last year. Very, very strong girl. Spending too much time trying to charge. And this is where those friends you made, it's good to be riding around them a bit. Almost halfway through this piece already. Awesome job. 70 to 75% effort. Surround your hour power. You train those bigger numbers so that you can use them and then back to where you can recover a bit. And this hill will feel challenging, whether you're riding the fastest groups or the slowest groups. The less fast, I'm sorry. The less fast groups. Okay, 1 more minute. Hold on to this cadence. Get into your rhythm. Think about your feet. Let your ankles move. Practice drinking. We know that feed zone is up the road at Alice Lake, but we might not be stopping there, depending on what group we're in. Good job. Lock right into this. 20 more seconds. Same effort, but the road is pitching up. So to simulate that, we're going to drop the cadence a little bit. Hold this 70-75. 2, 1. That means you need a little more gear. If you're on your bike, on a bike like ours, on a smart trainer, punch in the wattage after you've dropped the cadence. Good job, guys. 85 to 90 cadence, just a little bit off. Come on, Pierre. Been a long day for you already, I know. 90 seconds. Come on, strong through the feet. Still trying to be well in control. Almost at a minute to go. $85 to 90 cadence. All right. If you have a few people around you, not necessarily on the front, small group, 30 seconds. Good news is it's a couple of minutes from the flat. Bad news, it's tipping up to 8 and 9%. So there's also a bit of a push in the pace. We're going up to our 80 to 85 or 8 out of 10 for the next 2 minutes. First part, this cadence, so we just bring the gear up. Second minute, you're also dropping the cadence a bit to simulate that really steep hill. All right? This cadence, little bit more gear. Come on. Strong through the feet. Eyes up. Right ahead of the bike. Looking where you want to go. Always aware what's happening around you. If someone slipped their gears, just make a nice move around them. Awesome job. Hold on to this effort. It's hard. The goal is a little ways away. Past Alice Lake, we want to get into the canyon with our posse. All right, drop the cadence a little bit. 9% now. Holding that 80 to 85 of your effort. Come on. Pulling right through those pedals. If you just backed off all your gears, your posse probably rode away. Keep a little bit. Come on, guys, 30 seconds. Looking for that crest, looking for that flat. On. Up, up, up. Dig into it. to 60%, preferred cadence, not sitting up resting. But you can use this flat. You're riding in good position. Use this flat. Soft pedal a little bit. Let yourself roll back a bit. Not for too long. Okay, you have a whole 2.5 minutes still like this. Awesome. This in itself is a bit of a crux point. And in the front groups, you'll probably not be stopping at the feed station, which is in this zone. 2 minutes to go. Further along, you have the comfort of knowing it's there, and it is wise to stop if you feel you're going to be without anything you need for the next 50K. Okay? Halfway through this, 90 seconds. After we go past our feed station, we're right at that beautiful Alice Lake on the way up the highway. So, remember when I used to ride up here in just training rides, usually with a group of guys, I knew had to hang on for dear life in the next part. And what we're gonna do is starting in 1 minute, we're going 5 minutes. And this is at your, again, 70 to 75. You judge where you're in control. I am going to cue some accelerations. So a few times, I'm going to say up, up, and you'll bring the cadence up a little bit, just to try and move yourself a little bit and get on top of the gears as well. Sometimes it's good. Just don't go too hard, just a little bit. Okay, less than 30 seconds now. From your preferred cadence, past the feed zone, out of this 1 to 2% that we've been enjoying, getting back into 5, 6, 7, a hill proper, okay? So 80 to 85, crisp climbing cadence, drop it down a little bit, bring the gear up, 5 minutes, here we go, 2, 1, come on, get on it. Everyone's just settling in their rhythm. This first minute, I'm right at a 86 cadence. Anyone's using my legs as a reference. I get a little high sometimes. Not on big climbs though. Okay. Good job, you guys, right here. 7 to 7.5 out of 10. Round your hour power number. Can't talk very well. Battling that lactate. Good job. Bite-sized pieces. 1 minute done. The road keeps doing these nasty little pitches, but constantly around 4 to 5%. A little push in our group. Some people are getting a bit antsy to get to that crest with 42K to go. Now here we go. 5 RPM if you can for me. Hold the gear. 2, 1, up, up. Little acceleration. Come on, guys. Just a short one. 20 seconds. And back to your cadence. Recover, recover. It won't feel back to 7 out of 10 for a little bit. These little pops challenge you. Awesome. Almost halfway through this piece. Strong through the feet. Shut up, legs. If they're hurting, let's think about some positive visuals. Think you look like, let's not say Brunel, that's a bit too much. We look like Brendan Armstrong. Okay? Another little acceleration. 5 RPM. 2, 1, come on. Not a sprint, just winding it up. Awesome job, come on guys. Little challenges. And it's settled again. 80 to 85. Awesome job. 90 seconds on this piece. Stay with it. Another little acceleration. Ready? Winding it up. Not a sprint. 2, 1, 5 RPM. Come on. Come on, guys, keep it honest. Back down. 80 to 85. All right. Just over 2.5 minutes to the top of Brome Lake Hill. It's turning into 8%, then 9. Play around with understanding what those mean when you're out riding. Okay, holding on to this cadence. Bringing up the gear significantly. 8 to 9 out of 10. 1 minute. Steep pitch, come on. You rode all the way to get here. 2, 1, come on. Come on, stay with it. Dig in. Stand if you like. Your choice, your style. Don't blow yourself up. 30 seconds. Come on, guys. Goes back to 5%. You want to get there. Dig, 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 dig. All right, guys, this is where a lot of us lose it. The grade is lessening. Stay with an effort of 70% and use cadence. Come on, back that gear off. Up, up. Right over the top. 90 plus cadence. You back the gear off a bit. Come on. Up, up, up. So good, you guys. Come on. Going into that canyon. Long downhill. Awesome. 15 seconds. pedals and on a downhill. You're done with that. Good job. Okay, recover, recover. You made it. That is a real solid goal for this piece of the ride. Because although you have 40K to go, you put in the effort to be here with some people, and it rolls along. It's still up towards Whistler overall, but that was one serious pitch of work. And those 2 9%ers can be really daunting if you don't know. But if you do know, one thing I got told many years ago was, at least if you can stay in the same gear range and not let all your gears go, and sometimes you'll find the group you're with, everybody's in their easiest gear, and just try and keep a good rhythm and tempo, and you won't ride that much different speed than the people you're around. Steeper a hill gets, the more that becomes a thing. On a 2, 3, 4%, somebody who really can pick up the cadence a lot in a gear or ride another gear harder will distance themselves a bit. Okay, so that's a little bit of easy for you. We're just gonna finish off the last 7, 8 minutes where I'm gonna have you, everybody, bring it back up, depending on your level, to your 50% feeling or your 60% feeling. So those of you who are in the goal of sort of 4.5 hours and better for the Fondo, 60%. Those of you who are a little bit outside of that, 50% is fine. And I want you at a nice turnover, but 90 cadence to start. I'm going to finish you off with leg speed because that was a bit of a sloggy climb. So 90 cadence, find that effort level / wattage / output, 90 cadence. And I'm going to have you riding through your cadences a little bit like you did before, but now we got a little bit more gear. So hover right here, 60%, those of you who are trying to make that 4.5 or better, or faster, I should say. And just to give you perspective, you're looking at about 30K an hour to make 4 hours, which sounds daunting to some people, but if you're with a group, it's very doable. And 25K an hour to make 5 hours, 20K an hour to make 6. Okay, I'm gonna have you increase your cadence. Don't touch your gear at first. Increase it to 100. You're gonna wind it up. It's a little bit of a punch in the effort. In 2, 1, 100 cadence. Just hold it. You've brought your effort level up over 6 out of 10. $15 more seconds. And now give yourself a gear off and hold that cadence. Effort level back closer to 60, 6 out of 10. This is another cadence exploration. Good job, everyone. If you need to stand up and move around at this point, by all means do. You would have stood up on your bike more if you were outside for sure. Good, 100 cadence. Right here, keep it pegged. We're going to do the same again. We're going to increase from 100 cadence to 110. Give it a try. If it's at the high end of your capability, just try and go to where you're not really spiking. All right? Don't touch your gear at first. 10 RPM. 2, 1, up, up. On quick feet. As soon as you get there, just try and lock into that rhythm. Really good, you guys. And back your gear off again so that you're back at 60%. Hold on to the cadence. Last little piece here. Then we'll come all the way down. Come on, we're just learning this, teaching our bodies how to do it. Play a game. Look down at your computer. Look back up. See if you can hold that rhythm. Good job, you're doing one more. If you can, 115. Just teaching our pedal stroke. Hey, wind it up on my cue. 2, 1, 115. Up, up. Come on now, quick feet. Awesome job. 30 more seconds if you can. Come on, guys, really good. Really good. 10, and you're gonna drop the gear. Okay. Gear off, hold the cadence. Another 30 seconds. Then you're done. Come on. So good, you guys. Come on, just get used to that rhythm. Teaching your body little pieces. Last 10 seconds. And just start winding it back down with me. Not all at once. Back it off. 110. Back it off. 105. Good job, everyone. Getting used to feeling these, bringing it in, letting it out, not just jumping off the pedals. This is what will make you smooth and efficient and find your sweet spot. 100 cadence. Good, getting back down into our comfortable range. And wherever you're comfortable, 90 to 100. Good, back the gear off. Everybody easy. Almost 8 o'clock on the West Coast. Almost lunchtime on the East Coast. Can't remember if we have Veronica in today. Almost dinner time in Europe. Awesome job, everyone. So you've already forgotten about the hill, haven't you? So long ago already. 19 minutes of Giggles. Giggles all the way up. You can be ready for those few things. And just back to 2 concepts. 1 concept. Big, long climbs. You look at the profile. We used to do this when we were racing in Europe. Women's Tour de France. 40K climb. You do not look at the top and focus on that. You pick it up piece by piece. Think about what you're doing the whole way. Okay? The other thing is learning the pressure on the pedals. And there's that feeling, I think, when you start riding, 2 things that people do wrong. They go into a steep pitch, get demoralized, and just go click, 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 click down to your absolute easiest gear. All of a sudden, you're turning the pedals around, but you're kind of going nowhere. Or attack it like a banshee and then blow to the moon in about 20 seconds. So we want to learn, or have you learn, whatever level you're at, to be riding into these, gently squeezing the power out without getting yourself into trouble, but also not backing off just because you feel intimidated by it. And there's lots of time to practice that now, riding rolling courses, especially seeing what gears you can ride, building up the strength. When we're doing the low cadence stuff, we're working on more of the strength, muscular recruitment of our power generation or our speed on the bike. When we're using cadence, a bit more cardiovascular, and there's going to be places all in there where you're going to most efficiently generate the power. Okay? So thank you for joining me. That's a wrap.